years old, and infrastructure means sewer and water. What they're proposing there is a 40-story building, a 30-story building, a 20-story building, and it would have 600 market rate condos, 200 market rate rentals, and a 200-room hotel. I also believe that the process that they went through was not a process to actually get the community involved. So as alderman, I would definitely make this a high priority to get the community involved, to put together a plan of what we want to see there. Thank you.
First off, let me say that I'm proud to be endorsed by the Chicagoland Chamber of Commerce for my commitment to bringing good paying jobs to our community. I believe the best way to ensure every development is successful is to ensure that there's a community process. We obviously did not have this. I've been involved with the group that was opposed to this project from the get-go as well. Obviously, it's out of scale with what the neighborhood wants. I also have a problem that there is the use of tax increment financing dollars to develop condominiums in a market where everybody else in this neighborhood has lost about 20% in their market value. Why are we using your tax dollars to make somebody else rich? I don't understand it. My obligation to this community is to make sure that if I'm taking your tax dollar, I'm reinvesting it and making money back for you. That means bringing jobs into this neighborhood, and that means bringing investors into this neighborhood. In regards to the development, I want to know what the community wants. Right now there's a parking issue, there's a scope issue, there's a traffic issue. All of these things will be addressed on my watch when that site gets developed, but I want to guarantee you that it will get developed and it will be used as the community sees fit. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's been long, so let me try to get the question right. 3 things. Maribel, what's your plan for it? How are you going to do it? And what's the vision? I hope that's the question. First of all, I had an opportunity to go attend one of their hidden meetings I had at the laundromat 2 months ago. I'm sure some people were with me in this audience. This is a $50 million project they are planning to work on that site. Some of money is from the TIF money, your money. I raised my hand, even though I was frozen on that day, and I said, you're talking 40, 30 stories in this place. Have you considered traffic? Have you considered the neighbors? Have you considered the 46 plants? What are we going to do for that? Well, they had no answer, unfortunately. They just had their very rosy high-rises they want to build on that. They're not going to work with me. I can assure you that if I become an alderman. Here's my vision for that site. I don't like it the way it is. I go every day when I take my kids to Disney school. I feel sad. It's always closed. It shouldn't be. That's a prime location. My plan to that, number 1, I will involve the residents. When would you like to be on this site? Number 2, I will involve the city planning and zoning. Alderman cannot do everything. We have to be careful what we're telling you. Number 3, I make sure that the alderman have vote on bring this to the public to say that this is the budget we have. My vision to that again is to have some kind of usable, it could be colonial shaped place for trainings or something. Thank you.
Don't involve the county, please. Big mistake.
Gee, so many great ideas. I used to go to Maryville when I had caseload and we'd bring children over there. The sad thing is that we have much of the 46th Ward being an urban jungle. I'd like to see some parkland, but I'd also like to put a vote as put forth what the people want for that area. I personally would like to see more parkland. I personally would like to see more green. We don't have enough of that. We're tearing it up. Affordable housing should apply to all, not just the poor. What about those of us who are living in residences that have gone down in value, but the property taxes keep going up? Businesses are leaving this ward. Businesses are abandoning a lot of street side places because of the parking meters. Those lease needs to be renegotiated. I want to end pay-to-play politics. I want to put it to a referendum of the people, what they want done with this property, and that no one individual will benefit from this. And I am for an abolishment of the TIFs and return that money to us. Thank you.
Could you not use the
Thank
word
you,
jungle
candidates.
in the future, ma'am?
Madam, yeah,
Come on.
if the audience can withhold their comments till after the debate's over, that would be appreciated. So now we're going to move to a different topic. The next topic is crime. And the preparation statement here says, according to an article that is posted on the Medill Report website dated January 11, 2011, titled, quote, 46th Ward resident hope Schiller's successor combats crime, close quote. Crime and violence have been an issue within the ward, as multiple incidents of gang skirmishes and murders have been recently reported. Since Halloween, there have been 8 separate shooting incidents in the 46th Ward, and 2 people have been killed. Here is the question. Gangs and crime continue to be a serious issue. How do you plan to address this? And what do you plan on doing that has not already been done? And beginning the answering on this question will be Andy Lamb.
More police.
Please, ma'am.
Okay, that's a good question. On my website, I believe I have the most detailed plan. I have a 9-point plan as far as how to combat crime specifically and effectively, all without wasting lots of taxpayers' dollars, because we don't have that. I think as a resident, we all know that we have been missing our beat officers. All the cops on the street, they are all driving in the police car. For some reason, they refuse to come out of the car, even if they have the bulletproof jackets. So what I would like to propose is to make sure each officer spend at least 30 minutes on their shift to physically walking in the neighborhood, talk to the resident, talk to the business. I think that without the budget behind it, this measure alone would magnify the, quote, police presence factor significantly. Second, I think crime is tied to jobs. So we have to lower the taxes for small business and cut down all their fees, permit fees for, okay, yeah, so please visit my website. I have lots of good ideas. Thank you very much.
I also want to direct you to my website, www.caitlinmcintyre.com. I know I'll get cut off before I have a chance to fully explain my ideas for the public safety in the ward. I think our biggest issues in terms of public safety and combating gang violence are making sure that kids aren't on the streets after school and that we have good youth employment programs. If you look at the people that have been arrested recently for the gang activity in the neighborhood, they've all been young kids. They've all been teenagers for the most part. And the problem is we have kids, getting out of school very early. They can't always afford public school programs. After school programs, which have high tuition rates. I would work with churches and other organizations to create affordable after-school programs for kids in our community so that they could be doing something constructive rather than just hanging out on the street corners. I would also work with youth employment agencies and help bring more of them to our neighborhood because the kids that have the hardest time finding a job in the oversaturated job market, the kids that don't have a work history, don't have a great resume, don't interview well, are the people that we most need to be employed after school and working hard, building their resume, getting a good work ethic, staying off the streets. My plans are enumerated on my website a little bit better, but really cities that have found good solutions to gang problems have used a really comprehensive community-wide approach. They've brought together youth employment agencies and other organizations that combat crime, CAPS, former gang members, police officers. Everyone needs to work together. And we have a lot of good organizations that are doing great work in our community, but the role as aldermen is to unite these organizations, find the gaps in the current model, and fill them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Safety and reduction of crime has to be the #1 issue for all of us in the 46th Ward. We all must feel safe in our homes and our community and our neighborhoods, which we don't right now. As alderman, I would be doing a lot what has been going on with the police cameras and the caps and the everything, but the drugs, the gangs, the guns have to be moved out of this ward. And I've talked recently with Commander Bomer, who is in the 23rd District, and she is starting a program that I fully support. One, identifying the problem areas of the ward and then looking at the buildings around those areas to make sure that the people who are living there are law-abiding citizens. And we can use the powers of the alderman's office to put pressure on these buildings to step up to the plate and make sure that everybody's living there are not gang members or have guns or drugs. So thank you.
I was with a woman yesterday. Her name's Mia. She's got 5 kids, and she lives over by Truman, and she's terrified to go outside of her house. As was mentioned earlier, we've had 8 shootings since January 1. All of these are gang related, and all of these are because nobody has cracked down on these landlords who allow these guys to terrorize our neighborhood, and it's got to stop. My background, I'm an attorney. I work for the city in their drug and gang housing department. I'm going to go after these landlords and make sure that they don't let these guys terrorize our streets anymore. Second of all, I'm going to make sure that our kids get to stay in school. All these shootings since January 1, most of them happen between 1 o'clock and 7 p.m. That's when your kids are on the street. There's got to be after-school programs to keep kids off the street and keep them out of gangs, and I'm going to provide more access so families who need this help can get it. Finally, my business development plan is a grassroots business development plan that will allow me to put more of my discretionary funds as alderman towards hot spots and safety issues to make these streets safe. This is my pledge and my guarantee to you. You will have safe streets with me as alderman. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, for some of us, this may be an issue to talk, but for me, it's a personal. I came from war-torn area, from Ethiopia. When I talk about crime, it means to my heart. I have a zero tolerance. What have I done? Over 20 years living in this neighborhood, I have been a neighborhood watch group, COPS member, and also, since December, we had over 10 shootings during the daytime. This is not the night, daytime. I had to stop my campaign and I had to call a summit with Uptown Church. We had to march. We had to say that enough is enough. We all talk. Who walks the walk? I believe that's me. If I get a chance to be an alderman, safety is my priority number 1. I have 3 children that I worry every day. They can't even go a block from our house. That's how I think this issue of safety. If we make our neighborhood safe, we'll have a business, we'll have after-school program for our kids, and we should stop. We should stop these gangbangers. How do we do that? We'll get more police officers. We'll like a police officer to work in our neighborhood. Not only the police issue, it's our issue. Neighbors, families, we should join them, and we should take our street back. Thank you.
I retired after 30 years in law enforcement. Gangs and crime are nothing new here in the 46th Ward. If anybody had done anything until now, we wouldn't have the problem that we do. We've had leadership that has been absent. We've had people in law enforcement that have had their desire and ability stymied by the administration. It's time that we do things like publish the names of known gangbangers in the newspapers. I agree with Molly. Let's evict the landlords who allow gangbangers to live there. Enough is enough. This is our community, and if you don't want to live peaceably in our community, we are going to make sure that you no longer remain among us. Again, after 30 years in law enforcement, I've seen quite enough, thank you. There's been drug dealing right by the alderman's office. It's nothing new. All of a sudden, they're making this into a brand new issue. It's not the issue du jour. It's been going on for over 30 years. We need efficient, full-time aldermen that are there for the people, listening to the people, and getting the gangs off the streets between lengthening the school day, and there are many other ideas that I put forth on my website. You can read about it or ask me later. Thank you.
Thank you. I can't promise you that I'm going to be able to go around and arrest every single gangbanger on the street, or that you'll see no crime in the 46th Ward from here on. What I can tell you is that we're short 2,300 police officers in the city of